All right, let's talk about one of the most maddening problems you can have with your car, that feeling when it just seems to have lost all its get up and go. We're going to dive into the clogged catalytic converter, and I'm going to walk you through the entire journey, from figuring out what's wrong to deciding on the fix.
You know the feeling, right? You hit the gas and it's just meh. The engine makes noise, but the car doesn't really want to move. It just feels heavy, lazy, like it's dragging an anchor. If that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. So what's really going on under the hood? Well, the best way to picture it is actually really simple. Your engine is trying to breathe out, but it can't. It's being suffocated. Let's break down why that happens. Okay, so what is this thing? Pretty much every modern car has a catalytic converter. Its job is to be the little environmental hero in your exhaust system. It takes all the nasty stuff from the engine, like carbon monoxide, and poof, through a chemical reaction, it turns it into much safer gases before they shoot out your tailpipe. But here's the problem. When that hero gets all gunked up and clogged, it becomes a major bottleneck. All those exhaust gases have nowhere to go, creating this massive traffic jam called back pressure. Your engine is literally fighting against its own exhaust fumes, trying to push them through a blocked pipe. And that right there, that's why your car feels so gutless. It's being choked from the inside. All right, so now we get the why behind that sluggish feeling. So let's put on our detective hats for a minute. Your car is actually sending out a ton of clues that it's struggling to breathe. And once you know what to look for, they're pretty hard to ignore. That huge loss of power, that's the main event. But it doesn't come alone. You'll notice your gas mileage just tanks because the engine's working overtime. You might even hear a weird rattling noise, which is literally the converter's insides breaking apart. And if it gets really bad, the car might not even want to start, or it'll just stall on you. But here's a really specific clue, and it's a weird one. The smell. If you're getting a whiff of rotten eggs or sulfur coming from your exhaust, that is a huge red flag. It's the classic sign that the chemistry inside the converter just isn't happening anymore. It's one of the most definite symptoms you can get. And, of course, the dreaded check engine light. Now, if you get that code scanned and you see P0420 or P0430 pop up, that's not some random error. That is your car's brain telling you flat out, hey, the catalytic converter isn't working right. It's basically pointing its finger directly at the problem. Okay, so the signs are all there. You've got the symptoms, maybe you even have the code. But, a hunch isn't a diagnosis. So how can you be 100% sure this is the issue? Well, let's walk through a few easy tests that will confirm it. Now, this is a fantastic, super simple test you can do yourself with a cheap infrared thermometer. See, a working converter gets crazy hot. That's the chemical reaction doing its thing. So we're just going to use temperature to see if that reaction is actually happening. And the results couldn't be clearer. On a healthy car, the pipe coming out of the converter should be way hotter than the pipe going in. That heat is proof that it's working. But if it's clogged, all that heat gets trapped before the blockage. So if your reading is hotter on the way in than on the way out, bingo, you found your clog. Want a couple more quick checks? First, when the exhaust is totally cool, just tap on the converter with a rubber mallet or something. If you hear rattling, kind of like a maraca, that means the guts have broken apart and that's what's causing the blockage. Or a mechanic might do what's called a flange test. They'll just loosen the exhaust right before the converter for a second. If all that engine power suddenly comes roaring back, well, that's your smoking gun. So the verdict is in. It's official. A clogged catalytic converter. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. What are you going to do about it? Let's break down the two main paths you can take. You're really at a fork in the road here. Do you go for the quick and cheap fix and just hope for the best? Or do you go for the permanent, guaranteed solution? So your two main choices are a cleaner or a whole new replacement. The cleaners are just these additives you pour into your gas tank. The idea is they'll dissolve some of that carbon gunk as they pass through. They're cheap, for sure, and sometimes they help for a little while. But the 100% guaranteed, long-term fix is a full replacement. It costs more upfront, no doubt, but it solves the problem for good. And here's the thing you have to understand. A bad clog isn't just a bit of soot. It's usually a sign that the converter itself is failing, that the precious metals inside that do all the work are just worn out. So a cleaner might clear out some gunk and buy you some time, but it can't fix a broken part. It's really just kicking the can down the road. Which brings us to the last thing I want to leave you with. You can definitely save a few bucks today with a temporary fix, but if that clog comes back with a vengeance when you're 200 miles from home on a road trip, was that savings really worth it? That's the real question you have to ask yourself.